Hello, listeners. A warm welcome to the Complete Life Show. I'm your host, Lisa Thamides, and I'm so glad that you've tuned in. This show is all about finding peace and well-being through the mind-body-spirit continuum. My hope is we can all take away nuggets of information from all the wonderful people I interview to help us lead our very best lives. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Amy Mistel. Amy has always been someone who serves others. When she was younger, she worked with kids who had special needs, specifically children with autism. She gained patience and creativity from working with them, and she learned how to think on her feet. Now, Amy owns her own organizing business, Soul Ease, professional organizing. She helps her clients create systems that will allow them to get and stay organized. She's able to see the big picture of a space, and she loves working with her clients to help them achieve their goals. So today's show is going to be all about how getting order and being organized can shift your entire energy and your home life and all the people around you so that you can lead your best lives. Hi, Amy, and welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. This is a really great show in my mind because and I love that, my aim is not to convert people who are comfortably living in chaos and living functionally well. I want to acknowledge that it takes all types of humans to live all types of ways. And if you are living in a way that works for you and you're completely muddled at home and stuff is everywhere, but you are in a high functioning, happy place, there is nothing to judge about that. This show for me is about introducing someone like you who can help people who know that their chaos in their life is dysfunctioning their lives and it's affecting them, and to educate people about how muddles and messes around us can affect everything in our lives. So that's where I really am keen to chat to you, and I want you to tell us your experience and how you've come to this and the differences you've seen with your clients once they do get themselves sorted and get organized and lead functioning, tidy lives, if you like.
Sure. Well, how I started, I stopped working with children with autism and in the school system, and I needed to break away from that. And I've always been good at organizing and helping people. But on a personal note, my mom is a hoarder. And so she didn't actually become a hoarder until we all left the home. All the kids left the home. So she was filling a void, in my opinion. She was filling a void that she stopped filling herself as a mother. So growing up, she gave everything to us kids. And then when we all left the house, she didn't know who she was as a woman.
A really common thing that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Anymore. And so she started to fill that void with things. And so the home then became completely cluttered with stuff. And it still is to this day. And she won't take my help. So it's interesting is that whenever I would be at friends' houses or anywhere, people would always want my help. So I started helping them. And then I apprenticed under another organizing business. And then I realized, hey, I can do this myself and I can help more people. So that's how I started this. But so I see from my experience with my mother how it affects her mental state. She just feels sometimes paralyzed with the stuff that's around her. Because it not only, in my opinion, is a reflection of our internal world. So our external world isn't a reflection of our internal world. So if we're not looking at some of this deeper stuff in the inside, it's going to come out on the external world. And so she is just cluttered on the inside because she doesn't want to face some of this deep-rooted things, whatever they are. She doesn't want to look at them. And so then it just piled up around her on the external world. Now that's going like to a deep philosophical place, but I
No,
believe that
that's what
it
the
all
show
is
is all
connected.
about. And I think everyone will relate to this, because even if we're the most organized people in the world, there's times when we're not, and it is overwhelming. And especially when you're a mum with children, but everyone can get overwhelmed, either with paperwork, their laundry, whatever it is. So we all know that feeling where it all piles up and we're not coping very well. And then we also know the feeling of when we are organized and how everything flows beautifully and suddenly life is energetically easier.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the name of the business, Soul Ease.
Yeah, that's what I love about your name of your business, because we want to free our souls to be at peace. And if we're not at peace, we don't have to be happy and joyful all the time. We don't have to experience, nirvana. But if we're at peace most of the time, we've really accomplished a lot in our lives, because that's the root of all health and well-being.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've noticed with some of my clients is that, you know, some people have a really easy time of letting go of certain items, but then they'll be stuck on other items, and so sometimes we have to go to the root of it. And why is it that you're not willing to let go of this certain thing? Some people are really easy at letting go of clothes, and some people are not, and then it's like, okay, well, why? What is it that you're attached to? And some of them, it's like, okay, maybe you have a sentimental attachment to that, and I honor that, and you absolutely can hold on to that and keep some of those items. But it's also to think about, I don't know if you've heard of Swedish death cleaning.
No. Gosh, it sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
So what's that?
So it's from a woman. She's Swedish. That's why it's called Swedish death
Yeah.
cleaning. But anyways, it's the whole concept is that everything that you bring in your home, one day somebody is going to have to clean your estate.
Yes,
And
I
so
always
when
think
you
of that.
pass away,
Yes, yes.
when you pass away, somebody is going to have to clean up after you and all of your estate. And so it's having the mindfulness of everything that you bring into your home. Like, do you want other people looking through some of this stuff? Do you want your children looking through some of these personal, I don't know, letters or papers or certain things? Like, maybe they're private to you and maybe you don't want them reading some of these
Yeah,
things.
of course.
And so it's important to go through that stuff before it's too late, before you are, if you get sick, or if, you don't have the energy anymore, to clean out some of those things that are being shoved into a closet or, under a bed or in a garage. It's important to pull those things out and dust that box off and open it up and see, do I want some of my kids looking at this?
Well, also very healing, because I know for myself, I've got two boxes. One is a lot of letters that my dad used to write to us when I went to boarding school for a period in my life, and my father was always traveling, and he used to write to me a lot. He was very good at communicating that way, and it always touches my heart, the letters I used to write to my brothers in boarding school. They're sweetest letters. They're like love letters to each other. They are, you'd think it was just the sweetest thing. These are my tears, and circling the tears, because I'm so sad that I'm not near to see you, and I miss you, and I love you. Like, they're love letters when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old to my family. And it lifts me to a different place. So I store those in my very personal box. And then there's the other stuff, which divorce court case papers, horrible stuff. And eventually, you've got to let go. And I remember it's so liberating going to mum's, because I didn't even want that paperwork in my home, and asking her, can we have a bonfire? I really need to ceremonially burn this stuff, because I actually love my ex-husband for what we had, and we've healed, and we're okay, we're friends now, and I don't need to hold this anymore. I just don't need it. So I think it's time to burn it for those reasons. And I can't tell you therapeutically how that freed me. Anyone listening,
I love that.
let go of these things. Don't live in suspicion. I mean, if you can, obviously, if you're in the throes of divorce, you kind of need all that paperwork. But if I could, I would say don't store it at home, because it's just ugly energy. It's just ugly energy.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's my personal experience of that. It totally validates what you've just shared. one-on-one,
Yeah.
and I honor that so much. I love what you're doing. So generally speaking, is it through word of mouth people find you, and then you go in and you chat to them and do like a visual of their home, and then they tell you their deepest, darkest sorrows, and then you can go a little deeper and look into their shoe fetish or whatever it is that they're over storing?
Sometimes, yeah. So I do. Some people, it is a word of mouth, and some people, they just book me and they tell me the space, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. Can you at least send me some pictures? What space are we working on? And then I have others who want a consultation. So I offer complimentary consultations, and I go in and I will see the space, and I'll give them some tips on either how to use this space, like for storage wise, maximize their storage space to wherever their homes are. So I can do that. And then I also offer virtual organizing. So that's more where I'm just guiding and kind of coaching people through the organizing from afar, but they're doing the work. So there's that option as well. But here on Vancouver Island, I go into people's homes and I do it for them.
Right.
But I also offer virtual as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say, for the people that are far away and not on Vancouver Island, I mean, it can be as far away as Europe. There is something about being coached through something. You don't necessarily need someone there. And in fact, actually, a lot of the very personal paperwork and stuff, you do want to sit and go through it. You just need accountability. And that's where somebody like you would say, okay, you've got till Friday. I want you to clear that closet, separate it into those piles, however you tell them to do it. And just having that accountability is all people needs, which is one of the big reasons I wanted you on the show. It's because, I've got listeners all over the place. And I wanted people to understand you just need to hire somebody and make a decision that you want more peace in your life, you want to get organized, then you want to find somebody like Amy or Amy herself who can do this virtually with you. And now we've got video conferencing, like you and I are doing this entire interview through video conferencing. There's absolutely no excuse. You can hold up a video and a camera and look through everyone's, dirty laundry, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And they don't have to show me everything that way.
No, they don't. They really don't. But isn't it nice to know, having a show like this, somebody sitting at home right now listening to this, really unknowing that they're not alone. They relate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We're all humans. We all have our stuff. We all need to become aware of how that impacts our energy.
Absolutely.
And having too many things around us, I mean, as I say, for people who are functioning well in that environment, that's a personality trait. I totally get it.
Oh, absolutely. Some artists are very much like that.
Yeah, and it's great. I have no judgment about it. But I do know for sure a lot of people struggle massively in their lives. And this is an area where they can actually take responsibility and get something done and change their life, actually, very carefully.
And they'll have more time. Because if everything has a space and everything has a home, it's just as easy to leave something on the counter as it is to open that cupboard and put it away. Because so everything has everything lives in a certain space in your home. So it's so easy for you to actually put it back. So then all the counter spaces actually stay empty or cleared off, or majority of them cleared off. And so just even having a clear counter space even gives you that peace of mind, even in your mental state of mind.
Can't
just
agree
because
more.
You can just see around home, that it's just like, oh wow, okay, everything here is in order. Now I can I have time to even go out and be in nature, or spend time with my friends, or have more time with my family, or whatever it is that you want more time for.
So people who are listening who are really, really stuck, who are suffering with depression or anxiety, there are lots of things you can do, but I can wholeheartedly say the first step is taking a tiny action. This is one of those actions that can change your entire life from taking the first step. not to be taken flippantly. I just want people to hear that, because a lot of people struggling right now, but it just takes a tiny one cupboard, one drawer can start the ball
Absolutely.
rolling.
And usually a lot of people who hire me, they'll hire me for one space, and then
Yes.
afterwards they're like, wow, they notice such a difference in that one space, that then they're like, can we actually now do this other space? And can we do this other space? Because it gets that ball rolling, because they feel what it's like to live in a clutter-free environment. And they realize, I give them different tips of how to let go of certain things. Like, here's one for clothing. It's kind of like when people are going through their closet, you can ask yourself, would you buy this again?
Oh yeah.
And if you wouldn't buy it again, well, then let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't want to donate it, then you can try and sell it. But my other big tip is get it out of the house right away. So when you have that bag of donations, it leaves right away.
Don't just leave it in the garage and think about it. Yeah.
Well, because then sometimes people will go back and they'll start looking back through the bag, and they'll go, oh, wait a second, maybe I might need this.
Yes, the treasures.
And it's like, well, no, you've already decided that you don't. Yeah.
The other thing that's quite nice, I mean, here on Salt Spring Island, we've got the consignment stores, and I've found it very satisfying and to actually take my clothes, sell them, and then feel really good about getting more clothes, because then I'm sort of recycling secondhand things and I don't feel guilty. Not that I really did feel guilty, because I don't do that much shopping. I'm not a big shopper. But there's something good. It feels community orientated to give something and then get something new.
Absolutely. Well, also on Salt Spring, they have clothing swaps in other places too.
I know,
right?
I love
so,
that.
Women can get together and they, can all bring their clothes, put it in a big pile, and everybody goes shopping in other people's closets, which is also really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that too. And actually, that's another thing I'm sure you suggest, is doing a garage sale and having everyone come over and getting all your stuff out there, and it's for social too, and it's fun, and just a little bit of organisation, no doubt.
Yeah, depends on how much stuff they have with garage sales, because garage sales could be a lot of work as well. And so sometimes I like things just leaving the house right away, so I will take people's donations away for them, so they also love that. So not only do I come in and organize them, I take it away, so then afterwards they're like, oh my gosh,
oh my god, Amy, they must think you're an angel. Like, I'm just imagining you coming to my house, helping me sort out, and actually taking my stuff away in her car. It would be like, oh, I mean, that is your ultimate thing. Anyone listening, like, really,
they love that.
On Vancouver Island.
All my clients, they love that part.
And it takes a very special person to be able to do that.
Yeah, I just see a job that has to get done. I don't have any judgment on, where people are at. And it's actually, I actually feel really honored, because a lot of clients will open up to me and they'll share some personal stories, because it's amazing that we have this attachment to our things, and some of it's really deep. And so some people need to share the story before they're willing to let it go. And so I sit and I listen to their story, and I allow them to, talk before we can move on to the next item, because it is connected with our emotions and our,
So tell us your
spirit.
best story of someone who's turned their life around from one telephone call to you, and where they're at now, like something really significant that you can share with us that gives other people some excitement.
Well, I've helped this one client. She's a regular client of mine, and her daughter was addicted to drugs, and she was living on the street, and so in Ontario, and so she actually flew her daughter to British Columbia to live with her and to help get her in rehab. But before she could get her in rehab, she was living in her home. And so I don't know if you, with addicts, they collect all a bunch of different things. So she would collect things on the street and she would bring it into the house. And so my client called me. She just couldn't deal with it because she was already dealing with so much emotional stress for her daughter's well-being, that she just couldn't even handle the stuff of the house. The house basically got turned upside down, having her stay with her until she could go into the rehab program. So I came in and helped her just transform her whole house and organize the house and sort through some of the things that are actually were not garbage, sorted through items and put them in an organized tote so that we could give that to her when she moved out of the rehab into her own group home facility. So that really helped change her life around. And she's actually a regular client. She calls me often.
How's her daughter doing? I'm curious. How's her daughter doing?
Yeah, her daughter is she's
ongoing.
on the path to healing for sure. It's definitely a process, a long process for sure.
But having a grounded mom who's in a great space, in an organized space, it's got to be helpful. To watch somebody's life functioning well is inspiring to get your own life functioning well.
Well, she's able to actually focus then and helping her daughter more than she does, with the home. And so she also, I actually have quite a few clients, adult clients who have adult ADHD. And so they tell me that they can't finish a project. So they'll start something and with the best intentions, but they don't always finish it because then they want to start another project and they start that other
and that's
also, and they don't finish the first one.
Yep, spectrum disorders can lead to all of these, making it so much harder for us as humans.
Yes, so they hire me and then I help them to stay on track to actually finish that first task, and then we can move on to the next task. And so people are really grateful for that and so same with their partners too and their family. It's not only does it affect them, it affects everybody who lives in that household.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, Amy, I really want to honor you for your work. And, it takes a lot of courage to come on and share what you're doing. And I think you're doing an incredible job. People can find you. You can give your information in a minute, but also people can find you on navigatorforwellness.com. That's how I found you. And that's a local online guide for wellness practitioners. And you are a wellness practitioner. Be under no illusions. You're a very important part of that community. And tell us, if you don't mind, to give our listeners a telephone number if you're willing, or an email address so they can contact you.
Yeah, my email is hello@amyjoymistel.com. So it's my name. And so that's hello@amyjoymistal.com. And I also come to Salt Spring. So I used to live on Salt Spring. And I have clients on Salt Spring that I go and help them organize their
or
home.
anyone anywhere in the world. I just really want to emphasize that. I've got listeners in Europe, we've got listeners all over the place, and if you've connected with Amy and what she's saying and in any way feel inspired to change your life and get your life in order, starting with your home, then please contact her, because she's a gem, and I'm just so grateful that she's come on the show to share her wonderfulness. Anyone else?
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, love. What I want to say is, anyone wanting to reach out to me about anybody I've interviewed on the show, you can send me an email at figsandhoney@me.com. That's figsandhoney@me.com. Or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram as Lisa Thomaides, Thomaides. Thank you very much for coming in. Lovely to chat to you. Have a lovely weekend, Amy, and God bless you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.